Hey guys, it's Lady Raven, the Wild Witch, and I'm here to do the reading for the week. Once again, I'm sorry that I'm late by a day. I was up in Asheville yesterday buying lots and lots of rocks for the shop. So this week, the deck that I'm using is called the Stolen Child Tarot, and it is by Monica Knighton. And I'll talk about this deck a little bit later as we move in to talk about the spread. But for now, the one thing I want to focus on is, and I'm going to kind of put my camera here on my polar bear. I want to focus on the energies of what's going on basically for this week. So keep in mind the week of February 8th through the 14th. I know a lot of people are excited because we have a Valentine's Day coming up, but there's quite a few other celestial events that are going on. If you remember last week, we talked about Mercury retrograde, and Mercury is still in retrograde. So once again, be very careful with your communications. Be sure that you're very clear and concise in how you speak to people. And also be sure not to take anything so seriously from people when they tell you. Keep in mind that Mercury retrograde is going to play around with your ability to interpret what other people are actually saying. So that's the first one. The second thing we still have going on this week is the Aquarius Stellium. We talked about that last week. And this week it's actually going to pick up a notch. The stellium occurs when you have 4 or more planets in a specific sign. And right now we have 5 that are sitting in Aquarius. And on Thursday of this week, let's see, new moon is Thursday, right? But actually starting tomorrow, which is the 10th, and running through Friday, the 12th, we are going to have a 6th planet added to the stellium, which is going to be the moon. So that's going to cause even more crazy energy. So my advice to you is to please be very careful in how you, remember, you have crazy energy mixed with Mercury retrograde, not necessarily a good combo. So I just want to make you aware of that and make sure that you keep in mind that sometimes when you have things that are already making you crazy and a retrograde, you tend to kind of be a little bit unclear in your communications. And so be very careful and keep that in mind. On the 11th, which is Thursday, we have a new moon in Aquarius. And what I'm going to recommend, I talked to my team, my group about this for the Year in a Day class. If you're part of that, you probably already heard this. But if you are not, I'm going to tell you what my recommendation was. With the insane amount of energy that is coming up this month that we are just sitting in all day, my recommendation for the new moon is to do something for self-care. Just really kind of think about where it is that you need to take your energy to and make sure that you do some really good self-care for yourself. So that is going to be another thing for this week. I would not recommend doing any spell work. Just kind of take care of yourself and let the energy kind of flow as it may. And then finally, on February 14th, we have Valentine's Day. And actually, Valentine's Day, you know, it tends to be kind of one of those love or hate holidays for people. If you're in a relationship, you love it. If you're not, you hate it, and you hate everybody who is being happy that they're in a relationship. So keep in mind, on this Valentine's Day, the moon is actually going to be sitting in Pisces, which tends to be a good sign for romantic adventures, to like really express your feelings and emotions. But, and it is a big but, you still have the retrograde sitting there to kind of get in the way and muck things up. And you also have the stellium, which is going to tend to make everybody super oversensitive and maybe overthinking what other people say. So if you have a fight with your significant other on Valentine's Day, don't put too much into it. Just go back and really think about it so that before you guys discuss it again, so you can discuss it with a very objective view and a calm mind, because this Valentine's Day is going to be supercharged. And if you do not have a significant other, I would recommend taking yourself out for Valentine's Day, because it is going to be an excellent day to be kind to yourself. So either go on a shopping spree for yourself, go have dinner at a nice restaurant by yourself, or maybe cook your favorite meal, or maybe you want to spend it just kind of vegging out and streaming your favorite, you know, show that on Netflix or something, your guilty pleasure. So keep that in mind for Valentine's Day this year. I really want to make sure that everybody kind of comes out of this Valentine's Day whole. Valentine's Day is already supercharged with emotions, either, positive or negative. So kind of give yourself a little bit of a break this time during Valentine's Day. So just keep that in mind. Okay, so now we are moving back into our deck. And so this deck here, I want to tell you a little bit about it, the Stolen Child Tarot. First of all, it is so whimsical and so cute that I loved it. I ordered this deck actually 2 weeks ago, and it just came this week. And if you look at it, basically this deck is inspired by the poem, The Stolen Child by William Butler Yeats. And what I really love about this deck is that every single imagery in this deck, all of the cards that you see are natural, and everything, there's nothing man-made. So it's all representations from nature, which is really cool. And she plays really the elements very well in each card, and she really does a great job of making small things really important, like where the children have their hands at, if it's on their head or on their heart. And a lot of it has meaning, and how sometimes she divides the card into quadrants where you may have fire, earth, and air in the same card. So highly recommend picking this up. I'm going to put the link for this artist in my website, and I purchased this from her directly on her Etsy store, and it was shipped like super fast. So I highly recommend picking it up if you can. So now let's get started with our reading. So our reading for this week, the very first card that I pulled here is the card of obstacles, right? And what to look for. And the card that I pulled out is the Four of Flame, and I pulled that card reversed. So here's the imagery of that card right side up. And this card is generally one that talks about balance. You see the child has its hands in the stomach of one of the birds and in the heart of the other birds. And the stomach represents the physicality of manifesting things, and the heart represents kind of like our wishes and our dreams. And the flame is definitely a fire card, but there's a lot of other things going on in this card. If you look, that there's all of the elements are represented here. You have fire, you have water, earth, air, all of that's represented. So this card really speaks of having a balance between everything that's going on in your life. So for the House of Obstacles, we pulled this card reversed, which means be careful to not be too far out of balance. And the thing to me that was really interesting about this pull is that if you look at our reading that we had, basically the one before last week, let's see if I remember which one it was. It was, let me look at my notes, 119, which that whole week was the week right before the week of the Stellium, which is when everything kind of went to crap. So if you look at that reading, one of the main focuses in that reading also was balancing your energy, specifically balancing the elements. If you remember, we did the Magic and Mediums Oracle on that one. And so this to me kind of brings that full circle, especially because this week we're going to have 6 planets in the stellium, not just 5. And so it's going to be a week of very crazy things going on. And just basically make sure that you keep yourself in balance no matter what you do. If you need to take extra breaks, if you need to take extra time away from the craziness and the insanity of everyday life, you can do that. But keep that in mind and be kind to yourself this week. But if you did not get a chance to work on balance, one of the really cool things you can do is go back to the Wild Energy Forecast entry for the 19th. And it basically speaks to the 4 elements and how they can manifest when you are out of balance, and what you need to do to bring them back into balance. So that information is out there for you if you want it. So this is the card that we're going to worry about in obstacles for the week. And then moving forward, and I picked a piece of agate from my native country, from Brazil. Basically, it's got really beautiful imagery in it. I love the little, if you put this up against the light, let's see if I can do that. You can see how much it shines, and I just love these. These are so cute. And not just because it connects me to my home country, but because I think it's beautiful too. So here is the card that we are moving forward to in working in the areas of opportunity. And the 8 of Zephyrs here basically represents the element of air primarily. And the 8 of Zephyrs here, if you look, the child is basically wandering around a place that has a lot of, what you would consider dangerous plants. They're not toxic, but like you have the Venus flytrap here and all kinds of things. And the child is in no danger whatsoever. It's just walking around, all in good fun and just, chilling out. And so what this card reminds me of is no matter how difficult your environment around you may be right now, how challenging it is, how you may be challenged by the situation or the circumstances you find yourself in, or even things that are happening to you that are above and beyond your control that you can't really do anything about. This is a card that reminds you to say, you are still in control of yourself and you can still walk your path if you stay focused on where you're going. Don't get distracted. Don't get pulled in other directions because of maybe you're having a freak out or maybe you're, concerned about something. Be very careful as to what deserves your attention and what does not. Just because something looks scary, it doesn't mean that it's there to hurt you, and it doesn't mean that it needs your immediate attention. So just keep that in mind when you see that. So that's basically my reading for the week for you guys. And I hope that everybody has a fantastic week. If you get a chance, pick up the Stolen Child Tarot. You will not be disappointed. And if you give me about 45 minutes, I will also get the podcast up. I've already recorded it. I haven't had a chance to upload it. But all of this, I'm hoping to get it up on our website and in the podcast site by the end of the day today. So thanks, guys. Take care. Have a great week. Bye-bye.